when you as the citizen believe that your voice has weight, it has none. Zero. Hey, welcome to Getting a Grip on Things. We have not been podcasting, but now we are. It's 2025. We have a whole new perspective on the world that's collapsing around us. Right, Elijah?
You're in your camping chair.
Yes. We are camped out. Things have changed.
Our New Year's resolution is to just get really, really, really fat. And we prepped the chair for it.
At his heaviest, Ricky Naputi weighed an estimated 900 pounds.
I'm going to grow into this chair. It's going to be something that I'm going to grow into. So, before we get started, Medic Box, Shield Box, check out our code in the link right here, wherever it is.
Description. Go to the description, click on it, go get a discount.
Dude, the boxes are awesome. What are you waiting for? You can see our commercials. We'll throw some up occasionally, but they're amazing. Shield Box, Medic Box, love it. Anyway, man, what's going on with you?
Dude, the biggest thing that's going on is you and I started a business together last year.
That's why we haven't been podcasting.
Dude.
Who would have thought? We podcast, so we made a business podcasting.
Yeah, literally. It's crazy. That's what we've been doing, honestly.
Yep, it's been nuts.
I've also been busy not voting.
It's not like we collectively made a blood pact and said we will not vote.
Yeah.
We just kind of did it on our own. I actually planned on voting for a long time. And then about probably I would say a week and a half before the vote, my convictions were so strong, maybe 2 weeks before the vote. I don't know. I'd have to look at the timeline. But I had some really strong convictions leading up to that about just the reality of our country. And we have some real, basically, I'm going to just cut to the chase. For me to vote, I would have to ignore everything that I had seen for the past 8 years. Ignore it. Absolutely ignore it. Squash it down, put it in a little envelope, crumble it up, and stick it in my pocket, and then pretend that Donald Trump and Joe Biden are actually in control of this country.
Hold on. You forgot about Kamala.
Oh, Kamala. Yeah, whatever. I would have had to have absolutely believed that these people are leading this country. And I am just completely dumbfounded when it comes to baby boomers, Gen Xers, millennials, Gen Zs, all of these people that just drink the Kool-Aid. These are the same people that said the voting's a fraud. And then they go vote. And not only do they vote, they're pushing early vote. Vote early. It's the only way. Let's just be honest. We have a two-party system since the late 1890s. Prior to that, no. Why? Why do we have a two-party system? I'm going to tell you right now, the Republican Party's compromised. The Democrat Party is compromised. We have no representation. Zero. None.
Well, you know why? The reason for that is that, one, I'm just going to say it, is greed. And two, it's because the people who actually have an interest in the people around them, their communities, aren't elected.
No.
They aren't. They're cast aside because it's a money-making scheme.
No, actors are put into place. People that are represented by dark money. How could you say such a thing, James? Well, let's talk about Propositions 1, 2, and 3 in Michigan. That got put on our ballot. The Republicans put it on the ballot because they got money. Dark money. Well, there's no representation there. You think that just happens once in a while? It happens on everything. They take money, they push stuff forward. There's no representation. Our reps in the Republican Party give over their power to speakers of the houses. They give over their party to people that fund their campaigns to keep them in politics.
Lobbyists, man.
It's all bullcrap, dude. Listen, our forefathers would have torched this. People, well, you can't throw the baby out with the bathwater. Well, dude, the baby died a long time ago, and it's been sitting in festering, nasty water. We should have gotten rid of it. We are at an all-time level of deception, and we're just believing that we have to accept the lesser of two evils.
I'm not. when I talk to people and I tell them that I didn't vote, one thing that they say to me is, well, did you at least vote in your local primaries?
Yeah.
No, I didn't. And the reason I didn't is because I have seen that local level of politics, and it is the same thing at a little bit of a smaller scale.
But it's also pumped up from the top, dark money as well. Let's talk about school boards. How many
my gosh.
How many conservatives got on a school board in Michigan? How many things happened during millages? Let's talk about it. During COVID, all of these school millages astronomically passed throughout the whole state. Oh, the country. These crazy millages for millions and millions of dollars. They passed when people were broke and struggling for gas money and putting food on the table. Are you kidding me? I mean, people want to pretend that there's right and left. The reality is that we have no representation for we the people. None. Zero. It's corporations and dark money that are pumping everything. You want to pretend that Donald Trump is the answer to America? The answer to America is unalienable rights Americans that believe in what our country stands for.
Following Christ.
And following Christ. If you think that Donald Trump is the answer, well, let's talk about it. But the reality is right when I said that, all of you Republicans are going, well, what did you want, woke? You want the left to run everything? Really? That's the choice you go to? No, I don't want either. The guy that's questioning me right now, I definitely don't want you running our country. Seriously, if I'm talking about Trump and you're triggered, you've got Trump derangement syndrome.
Hold on. You are exactly what you say the left is. You are the exact same thing.
Yes.
On the other end of the spectrum.
It's the truth, man.
It's the truth, and it's really hard for people to understand.
Yeah.
It's really hard for people to understand, and it's just the truth. That's it.
We're our sovereignty, our nation is very, very compromised. When you as the citizen believe that your voice has weight, it has none, zero. Matter of fact, it has such there's so much contempt for your voice, including mine, that if it doesn't go along with the commercial narrative, it's silenced on social media. It's silenced on mainstream media.
Well, it even gets into the silent majority too. That is a thing.
It's even silenced at churches.
People are unwilling to talk about these things because they're afraid of the backlash. They're afraid of people not approving of them in society. And the reality is when you're grinding against the grain, it takes a lot longer to get to where you need to go. And people don't want to do it. They want to take the path of least resistance.
Right. They're hoping that these policies and that it's a slow turn and we'll get there eventually and we'll find the equal middle if we just keep pushing. The middle is gone. There is no middle. We are so extreme right, extreme left. There is no middle. But both of them, right and left, they do not have the American citizen, the unalienable constitutional rights at our best interest. We are just at this point making compromises for comfort and to be kept fat as we hand over our God-given rights. And I'm sorry if you think abortion is a God-given right, you're a lunatic. That is not true. That is not healthcare. That is something that has progressed. It's full-blown murder.
It's demonic.
And it's evil. Yes, it's demonic.
And I'm not afraid to say that. Because
and so here's something, Elijah. The Republican Party is now embracing abortion. She thinks it's healthcare.
Well, okay. So she said that. She wrote this, whatever you want, biography, this book.
Yep.
And instantly is going to be a huge seller, or is. And in that book, she talks about abortion. The thing is that they talk about this as, like a Republican will tell you, well, there's other people in the party who don't like abortion, and ultimately, I'd rather take this side of somebody because Donald Trump doesn't believe in abortion. Hold on. If you just listened and thought for 2 seconds, just cut everything out that you've heard on the news, and you look at the facts, Donald Trump put the right for abortion to choose life or death in the hands of the states. That was his stance.
There you go.
By doing that, he sat on a fence. He's neither hot or cold. He sits on the fence, and that in itself is a stance.
It's unrighteous. He offers no healing. He offers no freedom. There is no free. Well, he gave the power back to the states during COVID. That was what he should have did. No, our chief commander has an obligation to uphold our constitutional rights, our unalienable rights.
That didn't happen. He took a back seat.
Yeah, he took a back seat. He faded into the bushes like Homer Simpson. That's exactly what Donald Trump was. Dude, you need to cue that one up.
Oh, people are going to be pissed about that.
I don't care, man. The guy is, listen, well, he's the lesser of two evils. Do you want transgender people running the country? No, I don't want Donald Trump or transgender people running the country. I don't want anybody that doesn't care about individual rights. And this is groupthink now. You have Republican groupthink and you have Democrat groupthink. We have universal health care. We have group health care. What happened to individual health care? We have lost our minds. We are a nation of sovereign individuals with unalienable rights, and we're handing them over to lunatics.
So you could even look at, I pulled up these numbers earlier at the start. There are about 250-ish million people who are 18 or older in the United States, meaning there's over 258 million people who can vote, right? How many proclaimed Christians are there in the United States?
All of them.
Maybe not even 224 million.
Yeah.
Now that'll include some youth as well, but I mean, you're talking about at least 70%, 70 to 80% of our population claims to be Christians.
And act like Satan.
How many people voted? 150 million of those people voted for either Kamala or Donald Trump.
Stupid. It's all dumb.
It's mind-numbing.
It's mind-numbing, but it stems from somewhere too. This is the church's fault, right? You pastors, you're not doing your job.
Hold on.
They're not.
Hold on.
Okay?
Not the church, but the church.
Yes, I know exactly what you're talking about. Let's explain that, right?
So a lot of people don't understand, and this is a really debated topic. People can't seem to agree on it, even though it's pretty laid out in Scripture. There's where two or more are gathered in my name, I am there also. Look it up. That's the church. The church are the people. That's it. What has happened with our society, and you can go back, get a huge history lesson on the Catholic Church, is people started to rely on religion and started calling the buildings and religion,
which they did before that anyway,
the church. That's not the church. The church is people.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's it.
That's the explanation of it. If you want to argue with me on that, go ahead, leave a comment. Let us know your feelings about church. I've been in church my whole life. I still attend church, actually, because I believe that there are some good things about going to a building and worshiping God with other like-minded believers. But that's not the main focus. People who proclaim to be Christians but don't actually live out that lifestyle, you see it all the time. Why do you think there's all of these things around priests diddling boys?
Whatever I want, I have to get!
Why do you think there's things about all of these crazy pastors
Come on, Elijah,
who are
you can't have
making
perfection.
cults?
People are imperfect. We have to we have to take the lesser of two evils and hang out with those people.
There have been conversations that I've been privy to inside church groups. I mean, we're going on a whole different topic now.
Yeah.
But it's also the same thing.
Well, I think America's being ran like a statist church, if you will. It's a new religion. Yeah. Republican and Democrat is a new religion. That's why I hate it so much. I hate religion. The truest religion is taking care of orphans and widows. Listen,
religion is a practice.
Religion is a practice. It's dogma. And the dogma, and I'm just going to say something here because I think it needs to be said. The dogma of Peter, right? Let's talk about Saint Peter. Jesus looked at Peter and said, hey, who do you say I am? Jesus says to him, who do you say I am? Peter looks at him and says, you're God in the flesh. You are the living God among us. Jesus looked at Peter and said, hey, blessed are you. I'm going to build my church on this, on you, Peter. You're the rock. That you were given something by the Spirit of God that no man taught you. God gave you this revelation, right? It's also interesting that Peter was the man that stood up during Pentecost and spoke the gospel to a ton of people, thousands of them, and heard the gospel in their own language because Peter had the Spirit of God in him prior to anybody else. It's not talked about. It did come with tongues of fire. There was something that happened at that time. But Peter was the rock that God built, the understanding that in faith, listening to God's voice, hearing God's voice, and acting in that, that is the church. The church needs to be listening to the shepherd, not men, but collectively. So the world won't understand this. If you're looking at this, I don't know what he's talking about. I just go to church. I like the fellowship. That's not why you're not supposed to get together for the fellowship. It's icing on the cake.
The understanding of what church should be
is about God.
It's about equipping. That's the whole thing. Like if you look at the word like saint, right? The idea of saint, it's like a Christ-like person, somebody who is devout.
Well, Catholics believe it's somebody that performed a miracle.
Well, ignore that.
Okay.
So
I love Catholics, by the way. I don't have any hatred towards people.
I'll make it simple. It's about equipping Christ followers and discipling people.
Yes.
You're supposed to. The church has kind of reversed the actual model of, here is my life. I'm living it like Christ. And it's become, come into this place and find God here. But when you're out of here, God doesn't really matter.
Right.
And it's like, you're supposed to go to church to become equipped with knowledge and learning. Read your scriptures.
Can I tie something into that?
And then go out and spread the gospel.
What did you just say, though, before that? And I kind of want to, you just said, come in here, and if you leave, it's not part of you, right? Like, here it is. If you walk out of here, it's not. Like, you either for us or you're against us, right? Inside, if you stay within these parameters, you're on our team. If you leave these parameters, you're sinning. That is exactly what the Republican and Democrat Party are doing.
Yes.
You're with us, so thank you. But if you walk outside of these parameters and you say something bad about Trump, well, James, God picks the governors. God picks the leaders of this world. God gives us over to our sin. And that's what we're doing. We're sinning because when we desire righteousness and we don't settle for people that sexually molest other people or give their power when they've been given power over to tyrannical people and say, let the states decide. Or you try to be a dictator like the Democrats are. I mean, we are in big trouble. And as much as I want to make this about religion or about Jesus, the true nature that I'm seeing in America and across the planet is statism and this new religion emerging. We have all of these new dogmas coming out. We have technocracy, where people are literally bowing down at the altar, the idol of technology, right? We have transhumanism, which people are trying to incorporate tech into their own bodies. The reality is that we're so concerned with the flesh, we've forgotten what the Spirit of God is doing in our lives.
Here's what I'll say, and we're going to end the episode off with this.
Yeah, let's do it.
It's really good. There's scripture that you need to read. Go to 1 Samuel 8. Anywhere, any translation, the Passion Translation, for all I freaking care, the Jamaica, you could do a pirate I don't care. It's going to say the same thing. And this is about, it's titled, the beginning of this is Israel asks for a king. And I'm just going to read part of chapter 8, and that'll be the end of this episode. When Samuel grew old, he appointed his sons as Israel's leaders. The name of his firstborn was Joel, and the name of his second was I can't say that name. And they served at Beersheba. But his sons did not follow his ways. They turned aside after dishonest gain and accepted bribes and perverted justice. Sounds a lot like our local governments. Mm-hmm. So all the elders of Israel gathered together and came to Samuel at Ramah. They said to him, "You are old, and your sons do not follow your ways. Now appoint a king to lead us, such as all the other nations have." Trump. But when they said, "Give us a king to lead us," they displeased Samuel. So he prayed to the Lord, and the Lord told him, "Listen to all that the people are saying to you. It is not you they have rejected, but they have rejected me as their king, as they have done from the day I brought them up out of Egypt until this day, forsaking me and serving other gods. So they are doing to you. Now listen to them, but warn them solemnly, and let them know what the king who will reign over them will claim as his rights."
Yep.
Samuel told all the words of the Lord to the people who were asking him for a king. He said, "This is what the king who will reign over you will claim as his rights. He will take your sons and make them serve with his chariots and horses.
Yep.
And they will run in front of his chariots. Some he will assign to be commanders of thousands and commanders of 50s, and others to plow his ground and reap his harvest, and still others to make weapons of war and equipment for his chariots. He will take your daughters to be perfumers and cooks and bakers. He will take the best of your fields and vineyards and olive groves and give them to his attendants. He will make 1/10 of your grain of your vintage and give it to his officials and attendants. Your male and female servants and the best of your cattle and donkeys he will take for his own use. He will take 1/10 of your flocks, and you yourselves will become his slaves. When that day comes, you will cry out for relief from the king you have chosen, but the Lord will not answer you in that day."
And you know what's funny? Even after Samuel said this, they rejected what he said, and they said, "Give us a king. Give it to us." Well, you got your king. Jesus is king. Follow the Lord. Repent. Listen, man, these things that we're saying, I hope they trigger you. I hope it absolutely is like a knife into your soul, and that it makes you uncomfortable, because you should be uncomfortable, because the choices that we are making are wrong. They're wrong. Serve Jesus. Find God. Submit your lives to the Lord. That is your king. I mean, we're at endgame here, people. We're watching it unfold. And if you claim to be a disciple of Jesus, maybe it's time to rethink what you're doing. That's all I'm saying. I'm not here to judge, but I am making some judgments.
In this whole show, it's us getting a grip on reality.
Yeah.
And I think that you guys really need to take scripture and the facts of life, these truths, or what you may consider our opinions, and look at them. Actually look at them and think about them. Don't just instantly become triggered. Like, if you're triggered, okay, I get it. But maybe step back a second and just think.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's huge. That's everything. So yeah, take that, dude. I love this, man. Let's keep, our podcast is back. So see you guys next week.
2025 is going to be a crazy year full of content.
That's right.
All right, guys.
All right, bye.